right, we're back. Judd'z Budz episode 164. As always, your host Spoke Z, joined by my good buddy, Mr. At State of Hoppy. Hoppy, how we doing?
It honestly feels so weird that we haven't had games in days, and we still won't for another couple days.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little confusing, but also super, super welcome to just finally be able to hit pause.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, usually when there's like multiple days in between games during like the Stanley Cup playoffs, it's like annoying, but I don't know. I'll be honest. I think I kind of needed a break from these playoffs specifically. I'm slowly getting more pissed off as it goes on. I'm just the lack of game sevens or even like competitive series is very annoying. And that's, I guess, where we're at. But I think
that's
we
really
might be
just
on track
finals,
to get
right?
one. We should be on track for one potentially, but who knows?
See, I've never been more convinced that this is going to be like a 5-game series, but it's going to be like a Carolina 5-game series. I go back to Rod Brindamore saying no sweep. Like, they're going to be really good games, but somehow someone's going to take it in 5 just because everyone's so convinced we're on a collision course for a game 7.
That's true. That does feel like it's the theme, I guess. Don't like it, but that's where we've been trending. So, but we'll talk about that too. Got a lot of stuff to cover.
Well, we got
today.
to start though, dude. Your trip had to have been that much better because you didn't have to dial in on hockey, but Nashville, rate it.
Ooh, probably a solid 7.5, 8 out of 10. First time there ever. Obviously a lot of cool shit going on down on Broadway. I would have liked to have like out a little bit more and seen other things besides just like the bars that my buddies really wanted to go to. But it was still fun. Obviously the weather was good. It was supposed to rain a few days, didn't at all. But I mean, Nashville is just a different level of insane though. Down there on Broadway, they close off the streets for cars. Obviously, there's a million people down there all the time. Like, we got there on Thursday night, and there was still like just thousands of people fucking everywhere. I didn't even know that whatever the thing is, Country Fest is this upcoming week. So I'm glad we were there this past weekend and not like this week and next weekend, because that I know I would not have had a good time.
Confirmed. Did you go to Tootsie's?
Yep.
How's that hold up?
We went on a Thursday towards like the end of the night. It's like just in the perfect spot on Broadway too. It's not like too far down there. It's like outside, but no, it's sweet. I mean, a lot of those places, just like there were a bunch of places just walking, like the bar just keeps fucking going, and you're like, there's how many floors? And it's just like insane. I don't need that many floors, but I was glad that we went not on a Friday or a Saturday when there's a million people in there. There was still obviously a good amount of people, but it wasn't like painful to walk around. But I mean, it's got all the stereotypical Nashville shit going on, so it was still fun. We went to the Tin Roof during the day, which was I think my favorite spot, and I was also glad we didn't go there at night. I walked in, dude. I looked to the right. The sign said like max occupancy was like 600. And I was like, I didn't know that was possible. That feels like a lot. But that's another one. It literally just doesn't end. Like it's just the biggest. It's an insane space, and you just can't tell from the outside. But that was my favorite spot to go to. But yeah, no, there were a lot of really cool spots like that. But yeah.
Did you see Jonathan Marchessault?
Did not see any of those fellas down there.
It's a tough break.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, no, it's cool though. I think I went for the perfect amount of time too. I don't really like going on long vacations in general, anyways. Like 3 nights, 4 nights is perfect, especially when I'm out of my element, like Nashville.
Totally. And I think the exception for me, because I feel the same way, but it's also if you're like jamming multiple trips into one. Like when we came out and visited you the other summer, like I don't want to be in one place for a week, but like breaking it up, like we had 2 days in Boston, 2 days on the Cape. We had a couple days out on like Winnipesaukee, a couple days out in Portland, Maine. And like that I like, because then like, okay, you're removing additional flights. You're kind of getting little tastes of everything, but you keep it exciting. But otherwise, I'm with you. Like a good 4-day weekend going anywhere is the best way to visit any city. Like I lived in Chicago for a year, fucking hated it, but I'll maintain that it's a super fun place to go visit for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. I think I only been to Chicago once when I was like before I could even fucking remember, because that's when
back when it was the Sears Tower.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think, yeah, no, I'm on the same page, honestly. Like, it's just after a while, like, I fucking want to go home. I don't know. Some people just love that shit. But what I really don't understand is if you have like a million things that you want to go, like, you're at this point, if you're just like checking things off a list because you just have to go see this, if you're in this city, like, that's miserable. Like, if I'm down for a couple of spots that I know of that I want to go check out, but I want to, if I'm going there, I don't want to be there for like 30 minutes. Like, all right, to the next one. Like, people that just like have a list, they're just checking off the itinerary, is insane.
See, I'm a list person, but it's more like, hey, I want to like have this list at my disposal in case I'm like, what the fuck do I do? You know, or like being able to pre-plan, like, oh, here's 2 things I wanted to do, and they're like really close to each other. Let's lump those together. But I'm not like a let's hit this, get it all checked off the itinerary. Except I think the one exception for me is we usually, when we go on our Frozen 4 trip, the Friday is kind of my day that's like, okay, guys, I picked out like cool bars, cool breweries, whatever to go hit. Let's hit as many of them as we can without being too frantic. But generally on travel, it's like, hey, here's the things I'd like to do. What are the things near it? How do we like kind of have a day assigned for each thing, but keep it relaxed, casual, like kind of go with the flow from there.
Yeah, no, and the buddies that I was out there with, it was perfect because we're all on the same page. Like, we would get up in the morning, eat, like get our shit together, just go out during the day, then come back for like a couple hours. And when there was like basketball or hockey games on, which even the fucking basketball games are fucking brutal. But it was just like, come back, chill for a while, and then go back out again or whatever. So it was nice, just like daytime shit, and like not just like flooring it from like 10 or 11 until 2 o'clock at the work, 3 o'clock in the morning out there. So that was nice. But my old thing, if I'm going somewhere, I just want to feel like I never have specific things I really. Well,
I think that's you in general.
That's not true. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like in general, I don't really have her. There's very few places where I go like, I need to go see this.
It's
like,
super frustrating.
In Minnesota, it was like Tom Reed's.
Yeah, no, hosting you is a nightmare. What do you want to do? Like, I'm okay just sitting here until you guys decide what we're gonna do. Peace.
Yeah, it worked out. I mean, I was fine with it.
I'm gonna sit in here and I'm gonna clip some Russian highlights. I'm gonna do some stretching. I'm gonna tell your dog how I feel about life, and if you guys decide you're gonna go somewhere, let me know.
That I mean, sounds ideal. I mean,
I'm with Kozarov though. Mona Lisa, super unimpressive, and the whole Louvre is like insane though. I'm pretty sure you'd have to go there for like a week straight if you wanted to see everything. I can't even like imagine caring about that. No, it would be very painful. Well, today we're going to cover pretty much what you'd expect. Gotta hit playoffs, talk about the 2 series that just wrapped up, and preview the Stanley Cup Finals. We got a couple pieces on the Minnesota Wild. Of course, you all are very aware of the Marcus Johansson signing. Talk Mem Cup, talk QMJHL top 10 for this upcoming draft. We got a lot. Let's just dive in. And no Mateo, so I'm going to be scrambling with production duties because I'm just out of shape with it. Z's favorite graphic, Stanley Cup playoffs. Then there were 2, but let's pause because we haven't talked since the series ended. Canes in Florida. Not a sweep, technically. Although Rod Brindamore would probably argue that this was closer to a sweep than last time.
What if
Maybe.
that's what he said? What if he was like, we got swept?
Huh?
What if that's how he came out? He's like, we actually did get swept this time. Like,
Well,
you son of a
because they were
bitch.
gentlemen about it. It was a gentleman sweep. Now, I need your take on the whole coaching dynamic of Paul Maurice coming in and being like, hey, we're not going to be part of the handshake.
We have hit the point in the playoffs where I'm now just rolling my eyes. Like, I get it. I think it's whatever commendable that he wants it to be about the players, but then when you go on like a 10-minute explanation and like I'm at the point I'm like, yep, that's cool. Good on Brendan Moore for agreeing to it. Like, to me, it's like you could have just been like, yeah, it's for the players. But I mean, whatever. This is what he does. But again, I said this last week, I think, and multiple times before that. This is the point where I get like fatigued with the fucking like shit in the media where I'm like, all right, bro, like we get it. You're a deep thinker, and you feel very passionately about all of this, which
he wants attention.
That's
dude.
fine. It's an attention thing too. I mean, like, part of it is an attention thing, but like again, it's just the facts. Like, let me explain exactly why for 10 minutes, but I don't know. Like the fact that it got people like fires like this is the best coach in. Like, I was like, okay, like, I don't know how that fucking. I was like,
first
where are
off,
we going?
I will raise my hand and say the second they hired him, I was like, oh my God, this is terrifying. And everyone else was like, oh, he's washed up. He's nothing, whatever. Very entertaining for the media. I know Russo absolutely loves him. For me, it sucks because I'm fine with the concept of don't do the handshake line if for the coaches, like leave it for the players. Doing it there after eliminating him and being like, hey, Rod, I know what the players care about, even though I was not a player. And oh, wait, you were the captain of a Stanley Cup championship team. I'm going to tell you how this works. And Rod's like, what am I going to do? Sit here and argue and then still get in line? Like, sure, I guess I have to take it. But he wasn't happy about it. And he did this with the Leafs, but he said something to Berube before the series. He's like, hey, by the way, this is how I feel. Completely different scenario if he does that with Brendan Moore, right?
That's what I was wondering too, is like, I couldn't believe that was the first time that would have come up. Like, I was like, what the fuck? And it was very awkward and weird. And I mean, again, good on Ron for not like fucking snapping, because I'm sure he was already livid as is. I don't know. Yeah, the whole thing to me, I'm just like, oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Like, cool, bro. Like, I get, there are a lot of times throughout the year he has very funny, good quotes. It's great for the media, obviously, like Russo says. I just get fatigued with it after a while, and I just roll my eyes. I'm like, all right, I'm on to the next one. Like, cool. But it was weird, like the fact that that's the first time it came up. I was like, well, that's a fucking weird way to do that. Feels uncomfortable, but you know what? I keep saying I don't care, and then I keep talking about it, so I don't know. Maybe I do.
A little bit.
Who knows?
Dude, if we're going to talk about weird, let's go over to Stars versus Oilers. And weird series in general. Like, I think everyone expected Dallas to put up a bigger fight. But this man right here, Jake Ottinger, no one anticipated something like this happening, especially the way it unfolded. But break it down for the people who don't know what we're talking about with how we'll just say how Jake Ottinger was treated that game.
Yeah, I mean, simply put, it was the first two shots of that first period go in. I don't really know of all the players you could have looked at on the ice or in the box. I don't really know how he's the first one. I mean, obviously at that point, it was actually really funny listening to like was it Sean McDonough or whatever, and Ray Ferraro was clearly like, bro, he's doing this to shake things up. And he thought I just like couldn't drop it. He's like, this is insane. I thought it was nuts too. I get it as far as like whatever. It is the worst possible start. Down 2-0 in a must-win in an elimination game. The kid that you just injected into the lineup for some offense takes a really dumb high-sticking penalty. you need to get a save. But at the same time, like, I don't really know what else he was
How do you stop
supposed
either
to
of
do
those?
on those fucking goals. And then I was wondering if he would go back in to start the second, maybe, or something. No.
That's what everyone thought. Apparently everyone assumed it. I hadn't even thought about it. I'm like, all right, shit, Ottinger's done. This is crazy.
Yeah. But
the way, dude, the way it happened, they call a timeout, bring him back to the bench. He skates back out to the net, and then DeBoer's like, fuck it, he's out.
Yeah.
And like made a whole show of it.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Yeah. And I mean, they were back in the game for a total of maybe 5 or 6 minutes. That whole fucking game 5, like they made it a 2-goal game. I mean, I don't know. It was just really weird. I didn't like it at all. I thought, again, at least would have gone back in maybe to start the second. Obviously didn't. I mean, like Ottinger, even more so than someone like Mikko Rantanen, obviously had a lot of unbelievable moments, game-breaking moments, especially first couple series. But like Ottinger played a massive role in getting them there and was fairly consistent the entire playoffs. I mean, he had his bad games here and there, not really that many though. I mean, so it was just crazy. It was like, this is probably the actual most consistent player you've had throughout the run so far. Those are 2 first goals. They're just absolutely nothing to do with him. And then the comments after the game, it was just like,
That
yeah,
was insane.
What do you say? There's a track record there. And I was like, holy shit.
I can accept if he wants to be that like knee jerk and say, hey, I'm yanking him. That's what I need to get the boys fired up because this is going the wrong direction early. Fine. To bury him after the game when his contract extension hasn't even fucking started.
And I mean, I gotta say too, I thought Ottinger handled it unbelievably. He wants out. Like Ottinger in the media after was awesome. He was just like, it was about as, I mean, what else could he do? But right. I don't know, the whole thing just from start to finish, I was like, this is insane. But I mean, Jesus Christ, we couldn't even get a game 6 in either series. But that performance from McDavid was outrageous. Shout out Jeff Skinner, first fucking playoff goal in 15 years. In his career in 15 years. I mean, Edmonton looks terrifying right now. Now they've got Ekholm back too. We'll see how they handle that forecheck from Florida. But I mean, they're just thumping. Hyman's going to be a big loss. I mean, he's a massive loss, obviously. Sucks, that's brutal.
But dude, flip side of the Ottinger conversation, like how good has Skinner been? Holy shit. Just like the Oilers, right? Like started the playoffs looking like shit. And then, oh, wait, no, he's way better than we've ever seen him.
Yeah, he made it. And again, Dallas had few and far. There were few far chances for Dallas or whatever, but like Skinner made a couple ridiculous saves. He had one sprawl. I can't remember if it was Rantanen or if it was on.
Yeah, how did we not talk about Ferraro, dude?
Yeah, that was outrageous. I could not believe they were literally like basically touching shoulders as they were talking about Ottinger getting pulled. That was nuts.
And no free ads, but everyone needs to go listen to his interview on What Chaos today, just because he like does go into that, and it is very funny.
Oh God, it's fucking uncomfortable. But I mean, yeah, no, Skinner he made 2 or 3 unbelievable saves, especially a couple where it was like right at the start of that third period. Dallas scores right away. End up just giving it right back. But I mean, there were a couple other saves in between there too, where it's like this could have he prevented that game from getting actually interesting. Like that's the thing. Like they didn't have to make a ton of big time saves, but he made the ones he needed to. And at no point really did it feel like Dallas was gonna pull this off. I couldn't believe what they just couldn't bring at all. Like from the fact the puck dropped and before we knew it was 3-0. Like it was like, what are we doing here? Yeah. And like again, Edmonton's just been getting better as the playoffs have gone on.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that Dallas could just get nothing going and have only really, especially like the last 2 games, like they've had nothing. Like I don't know where any of it. I mean, I think Haskin is clearly not at 100%. Robertson was scoring goals. I mean, he scored like what 3 of the 4 of their last goals.
I love how he's the one that Jeff Merrick is like speculating will be traded.
Yeah. But But I thought Heiskanen was clearly, even though he was back, which was is to be expected. It's got to be like, hey, welcome back. You're playing against Connor McDavid. And my God, is he on a heater? That goal in that game 5 was so nasty. He is ridiculous. Well, obviously, that's stating the obvious. But like, he looks possessed. Draisaitl looks like he's probably not even healthy again, but he's still scoring. Like they're 1 and 2 and scoring. They're, I mean, I guess consistently on another level, but they were looking, or specifically McDavid was looking terrifying in that game 5, where it was like, and he's obviously on a mission here. Like, it's what's funny too. Like, don't even look happy after they win now. They're like, we just want to, like, they've got to the point where they make it to game 7 of the finals last year. They were like pissed off in the media a few times already, which is also very funny. Like, these guys are just getting more pissed off as the playoffs have gone on, and they're playing better.
Leon's pissy, man. It shows me though that they learned from last year. Like, they know that everything that's happened so far, like, fuck it, like, is what it is. Like, we can look past it. This is where we want to get. Now we really are here. Final matchup, rematch against the team that beat us in 7 last year, which, like, that was a crazy circumstance altogether. But you look at the Oilers, and I don't know. There's something different. Like, they have, even without Hyman, they have more depth. Both these teams, now, you look at them in Florida, like, which defenseman is more shocking how they've come onto the scene? Mikkola or our favorite astronaut, Klingberg? Like, there's just so many things to talk about in this series that are interesting. And actually, my favorite that I just learned about today from a different podcast, apparently Trent Frederick, like, grew up playing mini hockey in the Kachuk's basement. And like, they were like, their families are friends.
Oh yeah.
And they interviewed him, asking him about it going into this series. And he, like, you can tell he just wants nothing to do with it. He's like, yeah, like, we're really not friends. No. I just get all the vibes that Matthew Tkachuk, like, bullied the shit out of him. And that's what, like, toughened Frederick up to become, like, this kind of tough guy in hockey. Like, just got tossed around by Matthew growing up. And then he's like, fuck you. I'm going to be different.
No, this is so that specific beef started last year in the playoffs with the Bennett on Marchand thing, and then Tkachuk fighting Pastrnak and then not fighting anyone else. And then, like, every game since then, Frederick's like in the media, like, fuck him. Like, do not like him anymore. Like, we're not friends anymore. Yeah, they grew up together. They, like, used to, like, play golf all the time in the summer too.
He did not get a Christmas card this year.
Yeah, his Christmas card got lost in the mail. But yeah, he's been, like, trying to get him to fight him now for fucking over a year. Or a year.
Oh, we got to address this too, dude, real quick before we get more into this series. Fans in Edmonton who were at the live watch party at their arena freaking out that McDavid grabbed the trophy just broke my brain. Like, how can you be that unaware and oblivious? Like, no, you can't do that. Why would you touch it? History is why.
Yeah, at this point too, who cares? I mean, like, who gives a fuck? Like, I think we've seen enough evidence that it's not.
But the arena erupted with, like, disapproval of it. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, tell me that you've paid no attention to hockey without telling me that you've paid no attention to hockey. I don't know.
Yeah.
Weird. But so this series, man, like I said it before, I'm just convinced it's going to go 5 games. I don't know who's going to win it, but break it down. Like, who do you see being the favorite in this? Where, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like both these teams have improved since they saw each other a year ago.
Yeah, I think Florida's, the depth is just outrageous. And, like, the fact that they're defensively giving up. It's interesting though, because it's like Edmonton, who's creating offense at will against literally everybody, versus one of the best, if not the best, defensive teams in hockey as far as the postseason goes. Like, the Florida has given up absolutely nothing. They're getting ridiculous goaltending now from Bob. Like, not even like he lets in a confusing one. We're like, how did he not save that? Meanwhile, he's like doing backflips in the air, like kick saves. He is just on a heater. Ekblad's been ridiculous too. Like, they are just defending so well. And the big question I'm gonna have for them, or Edmonton is like, obviously Ekholm comes back in. You're not going to be throwing him on the ice for 26, 27 minutes a night. I think he played 15 and a half, maybe just under 16 in that last game versus Dallas. I mean, even in that Dallas game, they did generate a couple chances just by hammering Brett Kulak on the forecheck, creating turnovers. Especially given the fact that I was reminded of the clip today from Paul Maurice last year at either Game 5 or Game 6 against the Brewers. Like, oh, now everyone's going to try to fucking make plays. Fuck the plays. Pound them until they have nothing left for Game 7. I'm like, oh my God. So that being said, like, Edmonton does have a few defenseman guys like, whatever, Nurse, see how healthy Ekholm is. Kulak historically is usually not like a problem getting forecheck, but like I think Florida still, the fact that they're just going to be hammering them every single time, paired with the fact that they've got ridiculous depth up and down that lineup, I think they just have too much. Like Florida is probably like, I don't know, maybe way better is a bit of an exaggeration, but like they're certainly like better than last year, and they went up 3-0 in that series. I don't know. I still just lean Florida. I think they just have too much. And like it's just, even with the home versus away thing, I don't think home ice is going to matter for either one of these teams at all.
No, I think for me though, you look at how they matched up last year. If Edmonton doesn't absolutely like shit down their leg for the first 3 games, like who's to say they don't win that series? And I don't know. Again, both teams are better, but Florida did what I expected them to do, whereas Edmonton has absolutely shocked me. And losing Hyman's going to suck. It really is going to come down to that third line for Florida, which I'm sure you completely agree with. But if they can find an answer and match that, I think Edmonton can go head to head with them and win. It's just that element, like who in their bottom 6 is going to be able to go head to head with that Marchand, Lundell, Luosterainen line? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even outside that, I think they just have in totality, like, yeah, Edmonton throughout like a few of their second round, and I mean a few games in that series against Dallas, like they started getting, offense from outside of just the big dogs, but they're still super reliant on them as far as like it's just the raw scoring goes. I mean, all of a sudden Corey Perry, I think he has 7 fucking goals now, which is very funny.
Which also, like, how many times has Corey Perry been there and lost? That's already working against them.
It's unbelievable.
No one's better at it.
It's insane. I almost feel bad, but like a rat, so who cares? Yeah, I at the end of the day, I still just end up leaning Florida. Like Barkov right now too. That play that he made on the eventual game, on the game winner in the series clincher against Carolina was comical. And plus that, like the shot from Verhaeghe was ridiculous too.
I am pretty fatigued though with everyone saying how underrated Barkov is.
That can't be still.
Everyone's saying it. Shut up. He's not underrated anymore. If everyone's calling you underrated, clearly you're very properly rated, because everyone just is like assuming that other people think less.
Oh my God. It's insane. Well, that's the worst. I thought we finally got over that, but apparently not. All right.
No, dude, it's still happening.
Yeah,
how about
right now?
Like guys like TJ Oshie getting thrown in on the ESPN broadcast?
Oh, Jesus.
It's a benefit. Just anything we can do to potentially push Mark Messier out, please fucking help me. He is awful. Like, he doesn't want to be there. I bet if you asked him on the side, he's like, no, dude, I don't want to be here, but I'm not going to turn down the paycheck, so whatever. Like, he is not happy being on that panel at all, especially with PK. Him and PK just clearly do not like each other.
Oh, yeah.
It's very funny for me.
Yeah, no, that's always fun.
But yeah, I mean, are you going Edmonton? Like, what are you thinking here?
Man, I have like so many reasons for being on either side. I guess for me, it's going to come down to if the goalie battle's even remotely balanced, Edmonton. I'm just not super convinced that'll happen. Like, I think Stuart Skinner can be better than he's been in the past. I don't think what he's done thus far is indicative of how well he has. Like, he's had really good moments. I'm not talking down on him. I'm someone that's like been a Skinner supporter when people have shit on him. This team's different. Like, the Dallas Stars on paper are not the Dallas Stars that he faced. Like, you look at every step in this road, they've beaten teams that on paper are good. They didn't play very good. Dude, Vegas was a shell of themselves. If Minnesota played that version of Vegas, Minnesota wins in 5. Like, I think Edmonton feels like they're battle tested, and they're not to the degree that they think. And for that reason, I'm leaning Florida with, of course, the flip there of bringing in Brad Marchand for that third line. It's totally different than the dynamic that they had last year on that same line. And everything else is kind of proceeding as expected. So if the goaltending battle is even remotely even, then I go Edmonton. Otherwise, it's got to be Florida. It has to be.
Yeah, I think I landed on Florida in 6th. Just
plus
Florida in 6th, given the
Florida has to win to keep the narrative alive that, oh, income tax.
Oh yeah, whatever. I don't even care about that one.
Everyone else seems to.
Yeah,
I don't.
People have to have an opinion about everything, apparently. Yeah, no, I still just go Florida in 6, just given, like I said, the depth. I'll be very curious again. Like, the good thing about Edmonton's defensemen this year is, like, they are very mobile still. So if they can avoid getting, like, absolutely hammered on the forecheck, like, at will, those first 2 games, they're gonna have to, like, come in. I mean, they're obviously gonna know. It's not a secret, but like, they need to be able to mitigate that forecheck, because that's where Florida just generates so much of this fucking offense. And like, once they just get set up in the offensive zone, they are relentless. Like, the amount of times I've seen them this postseason, like, just chip pucks in, hammer on the forecheck, create a turnover, and like, forwards are changing out without the puck even leaving the fucking zone. It's just like, it's comical. But so we'll see. But,
so what, you said Florida in 6?
Yeah.
I gotta say Florida in 5. Stick with the narrative.
There you go. That would
close game.
If we don't get to 6, I'll be so upset. Very upset. Like, I mean, the first round was awesome this year. And then there's been like some entertainment. I mean, obviously plenty of entertainment, just it's playoff hockey still, but like, as far as the quality of the series, it's been disappointing.
Yeah. But I don't think that's fair for this year. I think it's just the conference finals. Like, I think the quality was absolutely there in the other rounds, with the exception of Carolina just having like the softest path. You're telling me that the first round wasn't electric across the board, minus Carolina versus New Jersey? You're going to tell me that the second round wasn't like largely good hockey?
No, I think there was plenty of good hockey in the second round. I just like the fact that there weren't that many series that were like remotely close. Like, there were a couple.
The series weren't close by like series score, but I think the games that led to them were still good. It's like the Carolina sweep that wasn't a sweep, right? Like, at least it's good games. But yeah, I mean, I'll yield. I don't care enough. That's fair. Moving on then from this to, of course, the Minnesota Wild. I'm sure what everyone wants to hear us talk about is your boy JoJo. He is back. He did not get the 4x4 NMC special, but he is back. 1 year. Let's just might as well get to the comments right away. Let's see. John Robinson, what a joke. More cardio laps. Guerin is a clown. Bob Holst. Carcass Johansson, which is one that's been used quite a bit in the YouTube comments. I kind of enjoy it. It's funny. Has been proof Billy G committed capital murder, because this is surely capital murder of forward progress in scoring. Carcass will be older, slower, and even less on a 1 year. I'm going to take issue with that one in particular later. Sloth, new commenter here. Love the name. Getting worked up about a vet min signing is some crazy work. And Flyer Voracek, I think for most people, it's the same as the Wild re-signing Victor Rask. So long as he's a 13th forward or on the fourth line, fine. Otherwise, uh-oh. Z, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this before too. Regardless of what the number is going to be, the reaction was going to be exactly what we've seen. So I think the reaction, not shocking, but shocking, where it's just like the anger is like, oh shit. I saw someone, because I saw Russo, whatever, they did a quick write-up about just the fact that he signed just like when anyone does. And like the first comment was, this is going to be the first ever like vet minimum contract post that has 500 comments. I was just like, it's so funny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for everyone, I assume you all think it's bad for business.
There you go.
Shout out.
The thing is, like, especially down the stretch, Marcus Johansson was a good player. He started scoring, especially as the injuries mounted up towards the end of the season. He had a decent enough playoffs. Like, the big thing is just like the roster spot. Obviously, it's a nice contract, 1 by 800 for a guy that can give you 35, 40 points potentially. Like, he put up 37, I think, this year in 70 something games. Yeah, the key is just going to be like, how much is he going to play over young guys? So it's just really that roster spot. The no move is also very funny. I don't really know why, but I laugh every time there's like a 1 by 800,000 full no move. I just think it's funny. But yeah, I didn't really think it was going to be something to get all that worked up about. Again, it's just like, if he's in the top 6 and like clearly like just taking spots away from guys like Liam Ogren, like, then that's going to be a reasonable thing to get annoyed with. But I mean, it's a 1 by 800. If he can play limited bottom 6 minutes, then, or like, again, that wears a 13-40. It's not like if he's not like playing every night, then it's fine. But 800 for a guy that he chipped in some good offense down the stretch. It was one of your more consistent players. It really is just the fact that it's like a roster spot. That's the annoying part of this.
Yeah. It's almost going to have to be a wait and see, right? If he is the second line winger opening night, I'm with fans being pissed. Period. If he's going to be a bottom 6 forward, but if there's room in Hines and Guerin's brains for him to even be the 13th forward, this is an incredible contract for a couple of reasons. One, like, this is a veteran guy that is liked in the locker room. He can play up and down the lineup in pinches. I do not want him in the top 6 regularly, but we've seen injuries happen. He can play with those kind of players. I like having him here as an insurance policy. Again, if he's there game 1, I am not happy. You also got to factor in that Liam Ogren, a guy that we're trying to groom for a top 6, arguably maybe more middle 6 role, idolizes Marcus Johansson, who worked out with his dad out in Sweden. Like, it's a guy that can help him come along, hopefully, even if that's only like a 5% factor. Cool. Last piece here, if this was factored in at all, ninja work by Bill Guerin. We talked about it last year, right? Oh, watch. He's going to get a contract because Marcus Johansson performs in contract years, and oh, they're going to be dumb and sign him again. Guess what? Another contract year upcoming. We're going to get the best version of Marcus Johansson. Come on. If you keep on putting him on 1-year deals, he's always in a contract year. That's genius. But
yeah,
to, again, be mad about a 1 by 800K. If he plays top 6 regularly, fuck that. Otherwise, it's not worth being upset. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, Cosgrove.
Yep.
Oh, Cole. What? Yeah, the hat's got to come soon. Working on it.
4x4, yeah.
Well, we'll have a corduroy hat for you guys coming soon.
It's gonna be sweet.
But yeah, I mean, that's as much as I really have to say on the Johansson thing. You know,
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's a one. If we had a 15-minute take about a 1 by 800,000, that's tough.
But people would hate watch the entire thing.
It would be like, what are you really mad about? What's going on?
Give me more. Give me more.
What's really going on here?
Let's pivot then to Rossi. The rumors percolated that there was something going on with the Philadelphia Flyers, which absolutely did not happen. There's a lot of discussion around what's being offered by the Wild, what's being asked by Rossi's camp. Jesse Pierce jumped on with me to cover for Joe Smith on Fellowship of the Rink, and we disagree. So I guess you can break the tie, and I want to hear from people in the comments too, because I genuinely don't know where fans fall on this. The ask is 7 by 7, and I'm sitting here thinking the whole time that they're asking for like 8 or 9 mil per year. The ask from Rossi's camp is 7 by 7. Do you want to give that contract to Rossi or not?
I am absolutely fine with a 7 by 7.
As am I. Seems like a lot of other people are not.
Listen, like in today's NHL, it's worth $7 million, especially again, this is what right now, this upcoming season, what's it gonna be? $91 million, I think, is that the cap next season? 91 and a half, maybe?
Next year, isn't it like 90, like mid-90s?
I can't remember. At this point, I can CBA salary cap just is so annoying to me. It's different than when Matt Boley signed a 7 by 7 when the cap's like 80. Like it's just not the same. It's not the same number. But for a kid that's going to give you 25 goals, 30 assists, 35 assists consistently, like not
even consistently. That's in his second year.
Right. He's like getting better. He's 23 years old. There's a kid you drafted top 10, plays center, and like has scored the last 2 years, getting better every year. And then just like, to me, yeah, 7 by 7, because who knows what his like seems would be. I understand the skepticism of like just on paper a 5'9" skater who doesn't necessarily fly up and down the ice, doesn't have like jets or whatever. But at the same time, like at this, we have 2 full seasons where he's stayed healthy. Not a lot. And again, 21 goals and then 25 goals, like, or what he's finished with this year, actually? Was it 25, 26? But if he can become a 30-goal scorer, that's like worth $7 million. And he's not even doing all of his damage on the power play. He gives you good value both ends of the ice. Like he's only going to get better. So to me, yeah, 7 by 7 is more than reasonable.
Yeah, and the thing I would say too, to push back on like the size, because yes, he is 5'9". You drafted him at that. You did not expect him to grow. And I would accept that if he was a perimeter player. Marco Rossi is anything but a perimeter player. Where does he score most of his goals? Right at the net front. Yeah. Like, to say that that's a problem, like, sure, could he be out physicaled in general in the playoffs? Of course he could. But he's not going to shy away from it. And I think that's when you got to worry about a smaller guy. Now, again, is he like a perennial top 6 center? No. But to pass on him when your organization has been starved for centers since their inception, you finally got a homegrown kid who's done everything right. He is not being greedy. He's asking for a very fair contract comp. And you're like, nah, fuck you. We can do better. I don't blame Marco Rossi for wanting the fuck out of here. Like, I would get out so fast. It's crazy to me. Yeah. Cosgrove says, my thinking is they don't see him as a legit top 6 center in the playoffs, and they want to be flexible for if/when Tage, Pettersson, whoever becomes available. I get that line of thinking. It's just, why does Bill Guerin think that those players are going to be available to him? He does not want Elias Pettersson. He's more afraid of a guy who is a potential locker room problem than a guy who has a height deficiency. Tage Thompson, if he becomes available, awesome. I'll eat my words. But he is not available to the Minnesota Wild. That trade is not happening. What center are we bringing in that's going to make more sense? Unless you are just that convinced Danila Yurov's the guy, I just don't get it. And then you got guys like Anthony LaPanta who want to like be able to talk out of both sides of their mouth. Oh, well, Rossi got pushed down the lineup because Hartman outplayed him. But if we're going to talk about Goudreau maybe playing under Rossi's performance, like I don't know. I guess we could have that debate. I guess, but no. Hartman deserved the promotion. Why the fuck is Rossi on the fourth line? He should be the third line center in that scenario or be playing on the wing. And Gaudreau absolutely did not play the way he should. And he had a good season. I'm not shitting on Freddie Gaudreau in total. But to make the direct comparison, Hartman's the reason he was pushed down. But then I guess he played better than Gaudreau, but did he really? No. He absolutely deserved to be elevated in the lineup the way he was playing. The team doesn't want him. Get him out. Get him to Pittsburgh, please. Please, please, please.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're going to have the same exact conversation for 15, 20 minutes every week until this trade happens, because it's just the more that comes out, the more confusing it gets. But
it's a content machine, though.
I guess so, man. But just sounds like it's very, very unlikely / pretty much everything that he's doing. But
Damn, Cosgrove. Bringing the heat.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a fucking bummer. It sucks. But again, I think there's something to the flexibility point where I don't know, you're gonna be locking up ideally Kaprizov, you've locked up Boldy, you've locked up guys like Faber. I'm sure you wanna only have a handful of those long contracts, whatever. But yeah, Anthony B. I just don't like that they assume he can't thrive in the playoffs. They didn't even try him, and even even then, demoted to the fourth line, still scores twice.
No, totally. But
and then benched.
Let me say, if they played him and he was clearly alphaed throughout the playoffs, playing him in a reasonable role, I'd at least back off a little bit from my take. I'd be like, you know what? Fine, Billy, you got your sample. You think he's not the guy? Cool. You didn't even fucking try. I'm just over it. It is what it is. Nothing we can do at this point. Anything else current Wild roster we want to get into? I guess the one thing I have to do is bring back up Oettinger, because so many people on Wild Twitter were like, oh, hey, Bill Guerin should be on the phone and get him here now. First off, Dallas isn't trading him. Let's not be dumb. Second, that is not the Wild's problem. You want to sink over $8 million into another goalie when we've got Phil Gustafsson, who's every bit as good, takes less, and we need to bring in forward help? That would be, if Bill Guerin went out and gave up the assets needed to bring in Jake Oettinger, I'd be beside myself. I'm sorry. That's crazy.
Contract starts too. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Whatever. Let's move on then to prospect talk. Everyone obviously continue to go out and support our good buddies over at MNW Young Guns, MNW Prospects on Facebook and Twitter, keeping you very well up to date on all the happenings with the guys that are in the Minnesota Wild prospect pool. We got to open up here, Z, talking about a very unfortunate, disappointing, call it what you will, definitely didn't pay for it, London Knights beating the Medicine Hat Tigers. What the hell happened in this game? I was tuned out so early. Not so early. I guess it really came to fruition at the end of the first, beginning of the second period. But from then on, I was just all right, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a dominating championship game from London. And I mean, it's also just rare that, they go to the Mem Cup final last year in Saginaw, lose. Typically when you make a deep run in a Mem Cup or even just whatever, when you give up assets, make a ton of moves to really bolster for the OHL or any whatever league you're in, whatever playoffs, plus a Mem Cup run, most of those teams end up having to enter some kind of a rebuild because they've given up so many assets. They lose so many guys to the NHL, the AHL, whatever. London brought back a lot of the same guys, especially the top dogs like Denver Barkey, Easton Cowan, Sam O'Reilly,
Great team.
Dickinson, Bonk, like they had them all back. Like, and they got some insane performances realistically all year long. But like this, the run in the OHL playoffs and this Mem Cup was ridiculous. Like, yeah, they did lose 3-1 to Medicine Hat in like the round robin stage or whatever. I think they outshot them still by like 20, and they were all over on this goaltending performance of a lifetime from a kid from Medicine Hat. But like, I was just it's comical going through some of like the production, specifically like Sam Dickinson. But like between the regular season playoffs and the Memorial Cup, I think he finished with like 128 points as a defenseman, which is ridiculous. He had like 30 points in the playoffs. Like he was already obviously having a really strong draft year, but he came in this year and legitimately just like took over from the back end and looks like a potential first pair D-man. I would imagine he ends up in San Jose next year. Typically 19-year-old defenseman, it's pretty risky, but like the growth that he's shown, he just looks like an NHLer already. His defensive habits obviously have always been there. But he just had an absurd year. Like, and also fucking they got Kasper Haltunen back this year from San Jose. So he was there. He ripped it up again in the playoffs. But that lineup, the way that they run that organization like an NHL team, I mean, they're never not going to have a star-studded lineup, and they just got
that's
some
my real
big ones
question
from
here, man.
top dogs.
You look at the new rules now with CHL going over to NCAA. Does London have even that much more separation because they're going to be more equipped to persuade players to stay?
I mean, they're going to just lose, but like at the same time, they're going to bring in. I mean, they're always going to have a strong pipeline of players coming in, no matter what. Like, it's obviously realistically the biggest CHL organization. They've got the track record. They've got the hunters there. That again, they run it like a pro team. Like, they're just a well-oiled machine, and I don't ever really see them taking some massive step back and just be bad. Like, they're always going to have a lot of those top dogs. Like, it'll be interesting next year. Like Easton Cowan probably going to be vying for a spot in the NHL with the Leafs next year. MVP of the tournament. Like just a ridiculous year from him. I think he was like 2.5 points per game across the playoffs and the Mem Cup. Like he went off. But they just like top to bottom. It was a ridiculous performance. They were so fucking good. And they got obviously big time performances from their big dogs. So well deserved, that's for sure. Medicine Hat also, like Gavin McKenna scored 2 in that third period that would have made it a more interesting game. I think it came back. I think that one was the high stick. And at that point, it was already 4-1, 4-0. So it is what it is.
Ben B, good question. We've talked about it before, but Sam Dickinson, Zeev Buium. Who do you take?
I mean, very different players. I'll just be the homer and stick with Zeev. But at the same time, realistic answer is probably Dickinson. He just looks like a surefire, no doubt top pair guy. Like Zeev's going to be a really good all-around D-man. He's going to be able to chip in offense. Like the offense that Dickinson put up this year, last 2 years in the OHL is ridiculous. Plus the fact that he's got the size, physicality, and just like he's always just been a sound defensive prospect as is, that like the offense just happens to come on like big time last few years. So probably Dickinson, but I'll just be a homer and stick with Zeev, obviously.
Is it fair to say that Zeev has the higher ceiling, Dickinson has the higher floor?
I don't know. They're probably neck and neck, honestly, as far as like that goes. I mean, I think there are probably still people who take Zeev over Dickinson anyways. It's just they're very different. They're very different players, I think.
Medicine Hat, very different scenario than London. Pretty much all of their players are supposedly going to be gone. Colby Cohen let it slip a couple weeks ago that Ryder Ritchie's going to BU. Sounds like Lindstrom and potentially McKenna both going to Michigan State, which that sucks. What did you think about Ryder Ritchie's performance throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, the fact that he produced looked good. Made plays, scored goals, scored a bunch of big goals for them too. I think he finished the Mem Cup third in scoring, first in goals. So obviously, it's just good to see him produce in big games. He just had such a strong season all around, so it was always good to see plenty of growth. So we'll see if he ends up going the college route. I don't think it's a sure thing, but it sounds fairly likely. And it's fun. I didn't even realize that they was that close to Gavin McKenna. They actually, apparently Scott Wheeler was saying that they've talked about playing together again next year, wherever, which is how are you gonna make that happen?
Richie and McKenna,
both,
the Gophers, would do things to me.
Yeah. But it was funny just seeing that Wheeler was mentioning that he had heard that they had talked about playing together next year. Even if they both go the college route. But yeah, they're losing potentially those. If they lose those two and livestream to college hockey, it's Jesus. Plus, Hunter St. Martin was a revelation for them this year too. He was drafted as an overager by Florida last year, and he just popped off. He's a big scoring winger that can give you little six scoring in the NHL. He'll probably be looking for a spot in Florida next season too. He was probably their most consistent player outside of McKenna as far as the Mem Cup goes. Richie's right there too. Richie was also putting up points, scoring. So, but yeah,
I think it's important too to Ryder Richie was traded to the Medicine Hat Tigers. He missed a lot of the season with injury, and he's still Gavin McKenna's boy. It's a pretty good thing to throw on the resume, no?
Yeah, I think they've got the same agent too. I think, can't remember. But yeah, it was disappointing that the game was that championship game was 4-0 pretty early and
dud.
Never really felt like it was gonna ever come back and be close, but still entertaining to watch a team like London and CHL just turn it up and play their best game in the championship game at the Mem Cup. So.
There you have it. So then we're on to the final bit, or actually, nope, we've got to talk a little bit more on Wild Prospects, just in that RIP in peace, Kalen Parker, no longer part of the Minnesota Wild organization.
Yeah, it was a bummer, obviously. He's been really good the last few years. He got traded 3 times. Again, you just look at style on a in an organization with the amount of just depth of defensemen that the Wild have. Probably it was gonna be a long shot for him to be a player here anyways. But I said before, I really liked watching him play. I thought for the last 2 years he just played solid hockey. And he was fun to watch, but yeah, it's disappointing. I felt bad.
All right. Any other prospect stuff you want to hit on before we transition to the last piece here, the Q?
No, I think that was it. That's all I had.
All right. We have it. The QMJHL top 10, which at one point we were worried that we'd even be able to compile a top 10. You got it done and even had honorable mentions to boot. Generally speaking, anything you want to explain to listeners who maybe aren't as in tune with CHL play, especially with Isha being one of the people that runs the network, the Q gets shit on a lot. Why is that? Is it warranted? And how do you feel about the league as a whole this year?
Yeah, it's as far as the CHL leagues go, it's the bottom. It's just you could always have to take the point totals with a big grain of salt. Obviously everyone's mad about the fighting thing being banned from the league or whatever. It's just not the most projectable league. So you always have to just take the scoring with a grain of salt, obviously. That being said, you can there's plenty of guys that come out of the queue and are awesome NHL players. So it's not a use. It's there's just nothing in this league.
Sidney Crosby's overrated.
Yeah. But as far as the strength of the league goes, it's definitely below the O in the dub. But there's still a couple of intriguing ones. I would say we're doing a top 10 here
you could put, I'd probably say the bottom, like 5 through 10 in any order. They're all neck and neck, to be honest with you. Just probably certain preferences for player types over the other, but it is a tough league to gauge, just given that like you just can't really put a ton of stock into the just like the offensive production as far as like point totals go, but still plenty of quality in the league for sure.
All right, well, let's kick it off then. Number 1 in the group shouldn't be a shock to anyone that's paid attention to 2025 NHL draft talk, but for those of you that are new, welcome. Number 1, Caleb Desnoyers, center, 6'2", meaning that he is a massive human and would eat Marco Rossi's lunch. What can you tell us about him? And I see you got him in the draft tier 6 to 12, which is interesting because I wasn't quite sure what you'd think his ceiling would be as far as like your rankings are concerned. I didn't know if you'd have him as like a 4 to 12 or a 5 to 12. You've got him at 6 to 12.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb Desnoyers, 6'2" center. So I mean, he's big, plays with pace. This year, the point totals have really jumped off. He's flashed a lot more playmaking skill, and some of the assists he was putting up this year were just ridiculous. Again, it's always tough to gauge the Q, but I still look at him as I know there are a lot of people who project him as like potential first line center. I don't know. He's got the skill set to do it. I'd probably hesitate a little bit on that, but I mean, he can pretty much give you a little bit of everything. He works super hard. He's a good two-way centerman. I still project him more as like a 2C. I think he'll end up being a top 5 pick this year, just given the fact that he's a 6'2" center with legit skill and two-way capabilities. But I mean, he's just a smart two-way center that like obviously popped off this year, but he's the best player on the best team in the Q. It's just a ridiculous year. And he's like won pretty much everything at this point outside of like a Mem Cup.
Does his Mem Cup performance concern you at all?
No, I know because I think he got banged up in the QMJHL playoffs where he also popped off in the playoffs for them too. I think he had like 30 something points, but he's just fun to watch. But yeah, obviously, no doubt for me, first player out of the Q. I hesitate with like a top 5 pick. I question whether or not he's going to be a first line center, but I mean, he does have the skill and the attributes to do it. I just don't know. Yeah, no, he's a solid player. Again, probably going to go top 5.
You don't know the order of everyone else, but I just tell you that Boston got him 7th overall. Are you excited, happy, or like, sure, whatever?
I'd be excited again. Like he does he plays a projectable game, and he's got like the legit upside there. So I'd be getting knowing that he's gonna probably go top 5 anyways. If they take him at 7, if he's available, that'd be great. Yeah, I'd take him at 7 for sure.
All right, moving on to number 2, Justin Carbonneau. You got him in the tier 15 to 20, which just tells me this guy has to land in Montreal, doesn't he?
Yeah. Another guy probably going to go closer to 10. But I mean, and realistically, I think, yeah, he's listed center here, but he's a winger. But he makes plays. He can score goals. Powerful skater, really good handles in general. He's fun to watch. Put up a ton of goals this year. 46 in the Q. Had a rougher playoff, but I mean, he was pretty much by himself. He was on an island there. He's fun to watch. I don't know if you would necessarily describe him as the most like dynamic skill set offensively, as far as like hard skills or whatever. But I mean, he makes plays. He's unpredictable at times. He's fun to watch. I'm gonna guess he goes anywhere from like 10 to 13 or 14, probably in that range. But he does flash some explosiveness here and there, skates well. So we'll see. But
so I think he's going to go in the 10 to 14 range. You've got him in the 15 to 20 tier. Like, what's your reservation versus what other people see?
I think I'm probably just higher on some of the other defensemen than other people. So It's not necessarily that much to do with him. Because again, like as far as like his upside goes, he could potentially be a top 6 scorer. And again, the fact that he's that size, skates as well as he does, he's kind of that dual threat offensively. Yeah, it's an unreasonable take for sure. Like, again, like let's say your team's picking 12, even though I've put him in the 15, 20 range. Get him at 12, it's a good player.
Sure.
Looks like a guy that's got a good chance of being a top 6 scoring winger.
Fair enough. Moving on to number 3. Bill Zonin.
He's awesome. I enjoy watching this man play hockey. He is listed at 6'2". When you watch him play, you would be like, he's 6'5" minimum. But every single game he plays in, he is by far the hardest worker. He's got a relentless motor. He's really smart, just creating turnovers on the forecheck. I was just going through some of the film today. There were a couple of times where like somehow the puck goes behind the net, goaltender comes out to play the puck, and like somehow misses that this giant man is like about to come in on the forecheck, like changes angles, and he's just like knocking pucks out of midair. And he's got like 3 or 4 assists this year where he's doing that behind the net and just giving someone a tap in. He flashed a lot more skill this year than usually. Also played center down the line. As the year went on, he became pretty much their go-to center actually. So he can play both positions. The big question is going to be, is the foot speed and like just the overall skating going to hold him back at all? I think just given the fact that he has such a transferable game, whether it's like top of your lineup or he can play in the middle 6 and give you some scoring. He does have a great shot. I think that should mitigate any issues with the skating. It looks very wonky looking, but he's so big, strong, and powerful that like one push and he gets quite far on the ice. It's just like pretty choppy. Not exactly like a speedster, but he's flashed a ton of playmaking skill this year. Works super hard. I think there's a chance he probably goes closer to 20. Just given the fact that he is the size that he is, he's going to be a really good NHL player. Like he's just one of those guys with a super high floor. And again, the fact that he's gonna be able to play up and down your lineup, he's awesome. He's really fun to watch. He is a beast. He's a nightmare if he's in front of the net. Like he is going to outmuscle you, toss you around, and score. And yeah, he popped off offensively this year.
Nice. All right, moving on to number 4. We got, is it Alex Wang?
I think it's Wong.
Wong, not Wang. Wong.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Right shot D man, super fluid skater, projectable 2-way game. Big questions on the upside, but he does flash some nice playmaking from the back end. Walks the line pretty well. Can be like probably projected like a second power play guy. Put up a little bit more points this year, but the combination of the athleticism, how well he skates, and like the advanced defensive, like against the rush, he's got some advanced defensive habits. He's fun to watch. I like him a lot. Might be higher up than other people, but again, I really like fluid 2-way defenseman to skate as well as he does. And again, right shot, always great. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan. These are good, by the way. 4 through 10, we're going to be like,
yeah, no, that's fair. So then moving on to number 5, Emil Guite.
mm-hmm.
God, I'm good.
This was a tough one. Like coming to like this point last year, and I mean realistically, the start after his performance at the Hlinka, this was a guy that was projected potentially like late first round. Had a really rough year, took a big step backwards, just like inconsistently left and right. But he does have an absolute hammer of a fucking one-timer, really good shot. Scored a good amount last year. The draft -1 looks like a kid with potentially like pretty high top 6 scoring upside. This year, obviously, did not pan out whatsoever. 16 goals, I think, was it 59, 60 games? But he moves well enough at that size that if he can just pick up the defensive habits more consistently, he should be able to at least chip in a third or fourth line. Like give you the occasional goal, but like just deliver some like physical presence in your lineup. Again, if he can become a better defender all around, then it's going to give you some value there. And I mean, like I put him above some of the other guys that are going to come next, just given the fact that there was a track record before. Like just give what we saw this draft -1 and at the Hlinka. last summer. Like we know he can score. It's just we never really got going this year, and I don't know. It was just a tough year for him. But I mean, again, you like the physical profile, the fact that we know that he can score, and I mean, he shows flashes where he's interested in defending and can do it. So probably a project player long term. It's going to be in your middle six that hopefully can chip in some goals here and there, but give you some defensive value.
All right, moving on to number 6, we've got Zachary Morin.
Zach Morin.
Damn. That's fair. All right. Ooh, related to Alex.
Yeah.
You know that one? Oh man, Blue Mountain State.
I was gonna say Blue Mountain State. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
This is one of the more interesting profiles of anyone in this category here. Like starts off the year in the USHL. I think he only played 4 games, moves over to the Q, and he's committed to BU. But he has some really high-end skill. He moves really well at that size, and he is a prick to play against. Super physical, not afraid to engage. When he can be dialed in and he's got just a little bit better discipline, decision making, he has legit top 6 scoring upside. And again, the fact that he's doing this at 6 foot, moves as well as he does, I just think there's a lot of upside there. So I would put him in this category, or probably even potentially 70s. The second half of the season was brutal. His move over to the Q started off really well. I think he's just better than a lot of the other players he's played against too. And some of the decision making, bad discipline at times, bad penalties, definitely hurt him as the year went on. Probably would have been better off. I mean, either way, he's going to be used, so we'll see. But he probably could have been playing college hockey.
I don't know. Did Ryder Ritchie take his spot?
Maybe. But again, really went into just a pretty long scoring drought in the middle of the season, and only picked back up in flashes as the year went on. It's a tough year for St. John, but he has the physical profile, the tools, and just the raw skill that I think he's worth a flyer for sure. And again, when he's on and he's disciplined, you can dial in the decision making and just work with him long term as a project player. He's got a legit prospect here, I think. So I went with him at 6.
All right, number 7, Philip Veilleux. Oh, legal midget. This is
he's going to be a fascinating one. 5'9" left winger for Val d'Or. He is a ton of fun. High end offensive production, super skilled playmaker, unpredictable, and despite the fact that he's 5'9", he just does not get hit. Super elusive. But I mean, watching him in open ice is a ton of fun. He is just flying around, making everyone look stupid. Again, it's always tough to judge the Q. But he's a strong skater with legit skill. He's got a great shot. And he's a super smart player too, which kind of lends itself to the fact that he just does not get hit. He knows where the opposition is pretty much every time he's on the ice. And he's always taking the puck in motion. He anticipates play really well. I love watching him play. Again, it's 5'9" winger. You're always going to have questions about him playing in the Q. It's just teams are going to be hesitant, I'm sure. But he's awesome. He's just, we'll see how teams feel about the frame. And on one hand, it's great that he's able to just be so elusive and almost never get hit. Same time, we don't really know how it's going to go when he's going to get hit the next level. So, and I mean, plus the size paired with the fact that there's not a whole lot of defensive value there. But again, I just think he is a really smart player. He's worth a potentially mid to late round flyer for sure, even though there's the size issue, but he's a ton of fun to watch. I mean, 40 goals, regardless of what league you're playing in, doing that in 64 games is impressive.
All right, moving on to number 8, we've got, is it Carlos Handel?
It's a
Handel. That Handel is so hot
right shot defenseman named Carlos, who's from Germany, playing in the QMJHL. It's a fascinating. That alone should be a top 15 pick consideration, to be honest with you.
Mars.
He really picked up play as the year went on too. Not a great environment in Halifax this year, but such a strong skater. Again, he's got the size. He's physical despite the small frame. Or as far as like he's 170 at 6'1", pretty light. So he definitely used to like just get bigger. And even though again, like there's a somewhat of a lack of strength, he's not afraid of any physicality, but like he is really good at just not getting forecheck, breaking up the ice. He's got a really nice first pass, gives you two-way value. And I think this is a tough year for Halifax. He's probably got some more offensive prowess in there, but just as a right shot demon at 6'1", who skates as well as he does. He's really smart, super high hockey IQ. I like him a lot. I think there's plenty of room for him to grow.
Number 9, then Matteo Nobert.
There, yep. 6 foot center. I don't know how to say this fucking team name. It's like Blainville, whatever. The Armada. We'll just stick with the Armada. Another
It's
really
Team
fun
Poutine.
player.
We're good.
Yeah, 67 points in 57 games this year in the Q. Playmaker. He could score goals as well. But I mean, he's got the size and really good like passing ability. He's probably more of a passer at the next level. And it gives you some two-way value too defensively. I think honestly, he could be a decent middle six scorer. Yeah, he's a lot of fun. He skates really well too. Like the way that he moves up the ice. I think he's pretty smart. So yeah, I put him. What did I put him? 90 to 100. Yeah, I think he's in that like fourth round tier. So he's fun to watch though.
All right, rounding out the top 10, we've got Maddox Labre. I
think sounds about right to me. Big 6'2" left shot defenseman. Pretty good skater. The numbers are fine. The dash 43 is something else. But
that is quite the dash as a defenseman. Wow.
No, but he's a good skater, 6'2". I think he's a smart two-way defenseman, super physical. When he feels like it, I don't know. There's some games where it's, like there's just a lack of consistently that probably like hurts his overall stock. But I think there's enough foundational tools there that you really are going to be intrigued by this guy that moves as well as he does at 6'2". Again, I think this is another tough year for Victoria. I think was it Victoriaville, the Tigres. However you say it, couldn't tell you. But fluid mover, 6'2", left shot D man. I think there's more offense in there than he's shown. I think 19.61 games. There just wasn't a whole lot of offense going around in Victoriaville this year. But I think he's a long-term project that's got some decent upside. Could potentially be a 5. And again, he's got a pretty solid defensive base to his game. But the fact that he moves pretty well at 6'2", it gives you some offensive upside potentially, given the role. I don't know. I like him.
All right, well, let's go on to the honorable mentions then, which, again, I don't know any of these players because I probably was only familiar with the first, 4 guys on this list. So I don't pay attention to the queue. Anyone that you feel like they deserve a little bit of shout out here?
I would imagine Lucas Beckman probably goes, the goaltender by Como. I don't that's how you say it. He could probably be right in that middle rounds. I could see him going 4th or 5th round. 6'2" goaltender, moves well. Goaltending is not a fun position to play in the queue, obviously. But
now we poked fun at Matteo for the first card on one of these lists because he got the team and height and weight and stuff wrong. Please tell me he didn't mess this up and that a player's name is just Drakkar.
No.
Damn it. That would have been so cool. That would have been number 1 all name team, period. My name's Drakkar. Is that your first or last name? Yep.
Yes. Yep. Sure is. But I know a lot of people like him as a long-term project. Again, athletic goalie, 6'2". So I'd imagine he probably goes 4th, 5th round.
Drakkar is where is that part of the Lucas?
It's supposed to be, yeah, he's just a small.
Oh, okay. God damn it, Matteo. You got me all excited.
But yeah.
Son of a bitch. All right. Well, that's good. Well, there's your QMJHL top 10. couple closing things here, because I have one question for you that is NHL draft prospect related, and then we've also got, I'll just throw it up right away, from one Sean Cosgrove. Don't know if you've ever heard of him. Didn't realize Gord was 33. 6-year extension. How fucking wild is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that it's 2.3 million obviously negates that. So I would imagine we start seeing more of those contracts. Honestly, like I know, like Nashville threw 3 or 4 of those out. And it was like Colton Sissons was on like a fucking 7-year. I think it was 2 million. I think there were a couple other. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I did see when I saw the 6 years, it was like holy shit. But then the fact that he was less than 3 million it's just a weird contract.
It's weird, but they clearly missed him.
Yeah. Yeah, it was again, it was just the fact that I was like, I feel like that's insane. And then I saw that's like 2.39 or some shit. I don't know where they got the number. Is he number 39? I don't know. I don't think so.
That sounds right.
I don't remember what number he is, but it was.
Or is he 60 something? I don't even know. Doesn't matter. So my question is, this week on the Athletic Prospect Show, they kind of did their like tier rankings for the top 10. I assume you agree with the first tier being Schaefer and Misa. Is that accurate to say?
Mm-hmm.
I want to know who's in your second tier to compare to them, because there was a lot of debate in this on like the ranking of this tier plus who even belongs in the tier. So who for you falls in that next tier after Schaefer and Misa? And then we can get into the order. But for now, I just want to know which names.
Hagens, Martone. And then you could debate whether Eklund, Frondel, and Desnoyers should be in there, or if that's still a separate tier. I don't know.
So who do you have, though? I'm asking your opinion.
I think I'd start with Martone, just like the ridiculous like game-breaking upside he's shown the past couple of years. Probably Martone, I think, yeah.
Right. Who's all in the tier, though?
Well, that's what I'm. Probably Martone, Hagens. I still think there's a bit of a drop off then from them to Frondel, Eklund, Desnoyers.
Okay. So you've got an even smaller tier than they did, which it was crazy though, hearing how all of them had very different orders within that
That's
tier.
the thing with this
yeah, it's interesting.
Draft class.
So their tier excluded Eklund, but had the other 4. But depending on who you asked, they could have literally anyone except Frondel in that 3 spot. 4 and 5 followed. I think Frondel ranged anywhere from 4 to 6, but like by and large, it was a big debate between Martone, Hagens, Desnoyers.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying Martone is your number 3 guy.
Yep.
Followed by
Hagens.
Followed by then, is it Desnoyers? Is it Frondel? Eklund? Other?
God. I haven't even said that.
Urban chimes in with McQueen. Does he even sniff this group for you, or are you just like a little bit too hesitant?
Just
with the
hesitant.
medicals?
Yeah, he played almost no hockey this year. Like, I think you got to be real careful if you're gonna be real careful with how comfortable you are taking him if you're like in the top 10. That being said, if you really believe in like the upside and you feel comfortable with the health situation, then I understand it. I mean, he's a 6'5" play driving center who's giving you two-way value. He's physical.
Sick name too.
An NHL player. Great name.
Now, I feel like that'll all be sorted out this coming weekend, right? That's when the combine is, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
So by next week, do you expect there to be a more firm consensus around where McQueen sits?
I don't think there's going to be there. Outside of those first four, and I mean, realistically for NHL teams, Desnoyers is going to be in that 5 spot, probably most likely.
I've
I
heard a
feel
lot
like.
of people mocking Frondell to Chicago
Or
at 3.
Frondell, yeah. And then actually, even then, like I wouldn't be shocked if you see Hagens go like 6.
God, that feels way too far for Hagens to fall.
So this is what I mean. There literally isn't a I would say most people have the consensus top 2.
Right.
After that, it could get nuts real quick. Like I've heard varying opinions all over the place, where it's like someone's like Hagens, I have at 8, I have him at 9. Where it's like some people are like I still have him at 3, I still have him at 2.
Yeah,
it's one of those years where it is just like it's gonna be. I will be going like 1 for 32.
so not your personal rankings necessarily, because I know Eklund is the guy that you kind of threw in that's not part of their list. Less of here's my rankings, but more here's what I predict. Give me a name that we haven't said that you think could sneak into the top 5.
Whoops. Oh God.
Or even the one that you're least like surprised if it happens, I guess. There's a couple that I've heard, but I don't want to like lead the witness here.
Probably a Jake O'Brien or Brady Martin were 2.
Those are the 2. Which one do you lean to then?
Oh God. I think I probably believe in the offense from Jake O'Brien more. Brady Martin just plays with the style that every single NHL team wants. He is a fucking maniac on the ice. He popped off offensively this year in Brantford. Or not. Oh my God, I meant the Sioux.
Brantford Winstonworth?
No, Brantford. That's O'Brien. I would imagine that Brady Martin probably ends up getting taken before O'Brien. I would probably still lean O'Brien. I think I just believe in the offense at the next level more. But I also understand teams that are going to be like, Martin is going to be an NHL player. They both took huge steps this year. Like they were 2 guys that were in talks towards the end of the first round, probably to start the year. And both have just been solid.
If either falls to Pittsburgh, which one should I be more excited about?
I don't think there's a right answer.
All right, I'll take that. That's good. I'll take either. Even
Yeah,
though, dude, I want Eklund so fucking bad.
Yeah, I bet
he means he'll go right before Pittsburgh picks.
Yeah, I'm at the. I don't even. I still wonder what NHL teams think about Victor Eklund if they're comfortable taking him in the top 10. I mean, he put up 31 points in 40 games the Allsvenskan this year. If they're worried about size, they need to figure it out because like he was flying around. The pace that he played at in the Allsvenskan this year, the production, like what he was doing to driving offense in pro hockey was ridiculous. Like, it's always going to be like Frondell's going to go. Frondell's going to get taken before him, given the track record, and there's obviously the size discrepancy there. But I don't know, and I get it too. At the same time, like Frondell, like the last half of the season, he was insane.
Sure. I gotta ask then, which Eklund will be the better NHLer long term? If it was easy, anyone could do it.
Probably still Slippery Pete.
Damn it. I was hoping you'd go the other way because then I'd be way more firm in my conviction. But fairness, Slippery Pete's filthy and I love him.
Yeah, I think he's just got a different kind of upside. And I mean, this year we finally saw it. Finally got drafted a couple years ago, but obviously now he's getting regular minutes. We saw it already so far in San Jose. He's awesome. God, they're both fucking incredible. I love them.
They're fun. Yeah. All right. One last question that I have to ask, just because it popped into my mind. Give me a player that's realistic to go in these spots that would be somewhat of a disappointment. It doesn't have to be like, oh God, what a total miss, but like, God, you left something on the table for both number 7 Bruins and number 11 Pittsburgh. Like if Boston picked a guy, you don't have to hate the pick, but who's someone that you're like, I feel like there's someone better. Why'd you do this?
That's like a reasonable possibility.
Yeah. Like not like complete out of nowhere Boucher kind of reach. I'm saying like a guy that you could see going there, but you don't agree with.
I mean, I don't see any like.
If Boston took Mertka, is that too early for you?
Yeah, same time. I don't know. If you told me I could see him being a top 10 pick too. Like the mobility size combo. He's like, I wouldn't.
Do you think he's the second defenseman off the board?
Certainly possible. After Schaefer, I don't know. Right? I don't know if I could take it before Jackson Smith though, but maybe other teams look at it differently, which by the way, it sounds like Jackson Smith going to Penn State. What a get.
Penn State's spending all their money. At least they finally realized they're not going to be good at football. Let's go for hockey.
I mean, I could see honestly like Jackson Smith and Radim Merka going back to back. Like even, I'll be curious to see what teams thought of Hensler's year at Wisconsin. He's probably still going to be one of the first D-men off the board.
He's probably still later teens, no?
Who knows
where the board falls? I guess it's all organizational need, but
the mobile right shot 6'2" defenseman who's just like the worst possible. I probably shouldn't have gone to Wisconsin this year.
Yeah, right.
Or anyone. Everyone should probably stop going to Wisconsin. The defenseman that's probably going to go really early, not top 10, that I would have more reservations about, but I know he's going to go probably right in the middle, like anywhere from 13 to 17. And it's one of those things where it's just like, I think there's better upside elsewhere as far as other guys that are going to be available there. But like, I know he's going to end up being a long-term NHL player. Just the way that he plays is Kashan Aitchison. Like he is.
You're not as high on him, huh?
A big mobile demon that's fucking mean and like just hits every single thing that moves. And I mean, he does flash the occasional offense, but like NHL teams are going to love him. And he had obviously a really good year. I think he scored like 20-something goals.
I've seen him like anywhere between like 8 and 20.
Yeah.
So you've got him more like mid-teens?
Just given the fact that he's the size that he's at, as good of a skater as he is, and have the physicality, he's going fucking probably like 12, 13.
3.
Maybe even 10. Who knows?
As long as it's not 11.
It'll be the few that like have first round upside that probably like teams are going to be squeamish about. Like Ryabkin's going to be interesting to see how teams feel about him. Like I'm fascinated to see where he fucking goes.
What's the earliest you'd want him to go? Like what's your tier rank for him? I can't remember from last week.
I think I put him outside mid second round. I think just given like the questions about how this year's went and like but I mean his raw upside is top 6 fucking play driver, goal scorer, and he's a fucking prick on the ice, obviously. But the decision making and just like the discipline was so bad this year, and like their coaches have been like, I don't know what to do. He's out of his mind.
Our boy Cam Myers, Appreciate you, Cam. I am here for the cardio kid post. That is all. Suited. Appreciate you. All right, Z, any last thoughts here from you? I don't care if it's NHL draft. I don't care if it's Wild Prospects, Minnesota Wild, Stanley Cup. Are we done? Are we out of here? Do you have anything?
I think that should do it. And nothing else.
All right. Well, appreciate everybody tuning in again. Everyone should check out the Danila Yurov highlight reel package we threw up. Like literally the first 2 days, it blew up and then no one viewed it ever again. So
usually how that goes.
Check it out, share it, tell your friends, make your girlfriend go watch it. I don't care. Appreciate you guys. We didn't really have any like memes or like pop culture references come up in this episode. That's kind of weird.
It's probably good. I think people probably appreciated it.
Cosgrove might have unsubscribed.
True. Hope not, Sean.
All right.
Quasimodo. But yeah, no, I got nothing else.
End it.
You end it.
You're going to make me end it. All right.
Stream or whatever I end it takes 20 seconds. I can't even leave. It takes me 20 seconds to like leave the stream.